Hi everyone. I just decided to let me fix it. Here, so it's better. Hi, I just decided to do a Facebook Live for a change. I usually pre-record my videos and upload them, but now I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys on talking about emotional and mental toughness and how I use them to train in martial arts or any combat sport actually. And it's not just because I want them to learn how to defend themselves when necessary, mostly because to learn to develop. And because I've noticed, and even with the statistics right now, the rising, especially since the pandemic started, and I've noticed that a lot of kids and a lot of people, both young and old, they get easily offended, and they don't know how to differentiate between a real threat and not. So it stresses them out. And as a father, it makes me think that how can I teach my kids to be emotionally and mentally strong? You know, as a Christian, I was a former pastor for 17 years, and now I'm a life coach. I've taught my kids how to process offense and hurt, and how to forgive people, how to not allow pride and bitterness to rule in their hearts. But I also realized that just processing hurts is not enough. You know, learning how to process your hurt is not enough. It's important also how to learn not to be offended in the first place. And those two things are equally important. So how to process hurt when you get hurt, and also how not to be offended in the first place. And this is where I see martial arts as a way, as a blessing from God, because it's one of the few places where you can learn through training how to identify a real threat from something that you shouldn't even be worrying about. And this is important not only for ourselves, but also for our kids to learn, because, again, a lot of people are getting offended and getting hurt by things that they should not be offended or hurt about. And it's going to be very tiring if that's how you live your life. If you're being offended and hurt by all little things around us, it's going to be tiring. Even if you know how to process those hurts, it's not going to be healthy for you. And this is I'll relate this to martial arts. So I joined. I've been training in martial arts since I was a kid. But a few years ago, I decided to try something new and learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu formally. I've tried a little bit of it in self. I was self-taught for a few years, but it's different when you finally join a gym and so there's a coach there who really knows what they're doing. So I finally decided to train formally, and on the first few days, they would assign you to a partner who you will do drills with, and eventually you get to roll or spar a little bit. It's very, very light sparring since you're new. But once you spar with them, and they do things that make that's painful. Okay, it's painful, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. And what happens is that me, as somebody who's new to the martial art, I'm seeing everything that my partner or my opponent is doing as a threat. So it's overloading my brain, because it's not just punches, it's the position of their body, their weight on you, where their legs are positioned, where their arms are positioned. There's so much that's happening, and it's overloading my brain because I see everything as a threat. And what happens is I'm spending so much energy trying to defend all the different things that this training partner is doing. and it's draining my energy, and eventually I get really tired, you know, to the point that you just want to tap out, even though the other guy's not even submitting you yet. And but as you keep training, as I kept training, I learned the game even more. I developed more techniques. I started to see and understand that not everything that my opponent is doing is an actual threat. So I started to differentiate what a real threat is that I should really defend and put my energy on, from the things that are just, small things that are happening around me, small things that they are doing, that could be just a distraction and things that I should not even be worrying about. And because of that continuous training, I learned how to use my energy wisely. And this kind of ability to identify a real threat from not is is crucial in martial arts training or in any combat sports. And that's why I think a lot of us, especially kids, could benefit from that, because a lot of people will offend you in this world, and if you take offense, there's a difference between somebody trying to offend you and you taking offense on what they did. If you don't know how to overlook an offense, if you take those offenses, and take them in, you're going to drain your energy. So part of learning to live in this world is learning to differentiate the real threats in our lives and the things that we should not be spending time and energy and effort on. And again, when it comes to combat sports and martial arts, this is also the reason why you'll see two MMA fighters or boxers beat each other up, and after kicking and punching each other and slamming each other to the ground, when the match ends and the bell rings, you'll see that they hug each other. It's because they didn't take every punch um, as an offense against them. They understood that this person in front of me right now is not really out, although he is hurting me, he is punching me, he or she is kicking me. But I understand that this is not a life or death situation. This is a test of skill. This opponent that I have in front of me is not really a real threat in my life. So I don't have to be offended every time this person punches me, this person kicks me, locks me, submits me. I don't need to take offense every time this person is doing it. And if you translate that in life, it's the same thing. We can learn a lot from this, not to take every attack, from people around us, uh, and take offense in those things. I remember a Bible verse from Proverbs 19 verse 11, and let me read it to you. It says, "A person's wisdom yields patience, and it is to one's glory to overlook an offense." So in the Bible, it shows that wisdom is not only knowing how to deal with an offense, but it's also knowing how and when to overlook an offense. And for me personally, one of the best ways I learned this is through martial arts also. And that's why I teach my kids and I encourage them to train and to learn and put them in an environment like that, where it's a controlled environment. And they learn how to differentiate what the real threats are from things that they shouldn't worry about. And it's my responsibility, of course, as a dad, to translate that into real life and make them see the connection with the people outside, who would offend them someday, or who is offending them right now, and that they shouldn't take offense on everything. Some people will say things that hurt you. Some people will do things that hurt you, but you don't have to take offense in everything that other people say and do. And that's all I just wanted to share with you guys. And I know if you're watching this that there might be other activities and sports that you know that also produces this same kind of mental and emotional toughness. If you have any ideas, just share it with us. I know some parents would really appreciate, and some parents might still not be, even after this, still might not be comfortable in letting their kids train in combat sports and martial arts, or because it's in the middle of a pandemic, um, the most of the gyms are closed. So if you know any other activity, it would be a blessing to me also. Please share it with us. Any idea that you, good idea that you have that can also produce mental and emotional toughness in kids, share it with us in the comments below. So that's it. I don't want to take any more of your time. Just wanted to share a little bit with you. I hope that short this short time that you took to watch this would help you realize that not we to differentiate the real threats from not, and don't be offended by everything that is happening in your life. So that's it. May God bless you all. May God give you the strength and the wisdom to discern the real threats from not, and also the faith to deal with the real threats that are happening in your life. God bless you all.